Hello everyone, this is Ange. Welcome to another episode of the Visual Novel Monthly Recap. This is a video series where I highlight news related to major visual novel releases and the community for each month. In this video, I'll highlight anything that happened in April of 2022. Let's start off with pointing out which April 1st announcements were not April Fool's jokes. The first one was Nekoworks making a dog version of Nekopara called Inupara. They provided a trailer as well as the 6 main heroines' designs. No other news like how long it is or when it releases just yet. Hopefully it's not as short as the Nekopara Catboy version. A fan translation of Onecha no Yuwaku got released. It is a Nukige created by Hibiki Works and has one single heroine, the main character's older sister. VNdb added a funny little feature where you can add traits and tags that are normally only for visual novel character profiles, and you can apply to your own personal profile. Feel free to make it as serious or as silly as you want. Love Lab announced that they will be translating Made for Loving You, the original Japanese title being Maid Sano Iru Kurashi. This appears to be a Nukige made by Azarashi featuring one heroine, a maid girl that originally collapsed in front of the main character's house at the beginning. This is by the same company who made Aikagi, which Frontwing released a translation of last year, so if you like that writing, Made VN could be interesting for you. For all you Otome and Switch fans, there is a very nice announcement. They are both re-releasing the original Amnesia memories on Switch, as well as releasing the fan discs of Amnesia later in Crowd in English for the first time. So far, this plans to be released in fall of 2022. For any Otome fans in Southeast Asia, it looks like the C version of Mr. Love Dream Date is being closed down. Players appear to be angry about not being able to retain their karma cards as well as other purchase content they've gathered for the last 2 years, as the devs urge them to migrate to Mr. Love Queen's Choice and start over. The fans also appear to have a limited time to migrate their stuff over. VNdb added another fun minor little feature. On visual novel pages, there are now heart icons with different colors to show whether the visual novel has uncensored erotic content, censored erotic content, or no erotic content. Uncensored equals green, censored equals red, none equals gray. Sekai Project released yet another Nekomimi or Animal Girl visual novel, this time Animal Hers Nekomimi Sweet Housemates Volume 1. This visual novel seems to be a moe nukige and has the emote engine, meaning the main heroines have 3D animated sprites. An announcement that caught many people off guard was that a re-release of Witch on the Holy Night, aka Mahotsukai no Yoru or Mahoyo, was going to be released on PS4 and Switch. An official press release confirmed that the release will have English and Chinese text. If you don't know, this was an older visual novel written by Nasu of Type Moon, Fate Stay Night, and Tsukihime fame about 10 years ago. So far, it seems like it will release by December of this year. JAST has released a remastered version of the Sagara family, a very old Nukige released back in the early 2000s. There's an extra bonus for people who have bought the original version on JAST store and can prove it, can get this remaster for free. Speaking of older visual novels, Shiravune has released a remake of Dōkyūsei Bangin' Summer on Steam and Joran. Apparently the original Dōkyūsei, released back in the early 90s in Japan, was one of the biggest influences of how popular dating sims, visual novels, and eroge having the style of choosing one heroine and getting on their route was. Dōkyūsei apparently has over 10 heroines, gameplay, and an easy mode to make it so you don't have to guess when you have to meet with heroines in-game to properly get on their routes. There's a bunch of adult age heroines if you're into those. For fans of Innocent Gray's mystery visual novels like Cartegra or Kara no Shoujo, Project Kamai has announced they're working on a fan translation of Kaukasus. Project Kamai recently had that open beta of Kamai Tachi no Yoru or Banshee's Last Cry recently, so it's possible they'll do the same thing with this visual novel. MangaGamer finally released the results of their 2022 visual novel licensing request survey. It's about the same as expected from previous years, with mostly Type Moon, Ryukishi 07, an 18+ Otome, and a few other high-rated story visual novels taking up most of the list. Shiravune announced they'll be working with Aqua Plus to release the Urawaru Mono spin-off Monochrome Mobius Rights and Wrongs in English on Steam. I believe this is either a prequel or interquel, taking place around the Mask of Deception era. I also believe this is straight up a JRPG game, not a visual novel at all, so I likely won't cover it again in these videos. So far it's scheduled to release in September 2022, so definitely wishlist it if you're interested. Yuzusoft is partnering with Nekonyon to release Senran Banka on the Nintendo Switch. This is pretty big, as this is the first Yuzusoft console port since Tenshin Ranman around 10 years ago on the PSP in Japan. Naturally, since this is being ported on Switch, it's not going to be an 18+ release. There's already some previews of some of the changes in the opening movie and some CGs. I'm going to assume they're either going to change or outright remove the H scenes as well. So far, it's planned on being released worldwide in May 2022. Frontwing released Hatsumeda from the Future Undying on Steam. It's by the same company and writers as the Grisaya series. Some of the art style and designs are similar to the Grisaya series as well. All I know is that the protagonist is some military guy who gets isekai'd into a fantasy world in the middle of a war or something, and naturally he helps out. The 18+ patch is on a small page on Frontwing's site. JAST and their Discord confirmed it will be on their store sometime in the future. MangaGamer released Uchikano Living with My Sister on their store. This is a sequel to Uchikano Living with My Girlfriend, where the protagonist gets with his sister instead of his childhood friend. Alisoft announced they're releasing their newest Nukige, A Housewife's Healing Touch, next month in English. This is big for a few reasons. One, this is the second time Alisoft has translated something themselves after Eventical 2, doing the same thing and releasing it on multiple stores like MangaGamer, JAST, and Jorin. Two, this appears to actually be a simul release in both Japan and the West, a huge rarity in the visual novel scene outside of stuff like Nekopara. Three, there's actually two visual novel option purchases, one where you save a wife from a bad fate, or another visual novel where you watch that wife become the village's plaything. So you're choosing between Nettori or NTR, cuckolding either way. Your choice if you're interested in this visual novel. It's coming out in May. Marco and the Galaxy Dragon released on the Nintendo Switch. This was a title initially translated by Shiravune, their first visual novel that wasn't a port, in fact, on Steam. Sadly, there is no physical version, but thankfully there's a demo that's basically the same as the Steam demo. Marco and the Galaxy Dragon was an interesting visual novel in terms of having crazy production value with a lot of animation similar to anime or cartoons. The Committee of Zero made a Chaos Child patch version 2.0. Like many visual novels they've retranslated or fixed for various science adventure visual novels, they further updated a previous Chaos Child patch, and in this case, it looks like they're doing updated translations to match their upcoming Chaos Head Noah fan patch, a full proofreading pass, and an editing pass of the tips. Fruitbat Factory did a Fruitbat Indirect where they did a announcement of an announcement. More specifically, on Twitter, they did a little small teaser that they're making a seabed related project. What'll it be? Guess we'll find out later this year. The GoGo Nippon Live With You VTuber channel finally reached 10,000 subscribers. That means Bamboo, one of the original developers of Overdrive, is going to be making a sequel to GoGo Nippon. Since Overdrive is closed down, it looks like Bamboo's going to have a little bit of a harder time making it, since they'll have to do everything from the ground up without a company. And that is it for April of 2022. As always, if you have any feedback, positive or negative, feel free to leave a comment below in this video or one of my social medias. See you all next month. A very special thank you to Yokai of Kujo for the Ko-Fi donation. Always much appreciated.